Okay, next page, 23. You're finding the area of all of these. So the area of this figure, name that figure. Triangle. So formula for a triangle will hopefully be on your cheat sheet. Right? So 1/2, and then you have to figure out what is my base, what is my height. What are your base and height in this triangle on 23?
Your base is 10.8.
It could be. You could use 10.8, but you don't have the height for that, right? So then that's not a good one to use.
Oh, can it be 6?
6 and 9, right? Your base and height are always perpendicular. So because this is a right angle, 6 and 9 would be your base and your height, or 9 and 6, you can flip them. So your area is 27 square yards.
I looked online and I totally did something different and it still worked, but your way is a lot easier.
Did you do this and then use the trig?
Yeah, and I was like trying to figure it out. I felt like it was too easy, so I just made it hard on myself.
Yeah, that's a lot more work than it needs to be. Okay, 24, name that figure. A trapezoid. In a trapezoid, you're doing area equals 1/2 times the height times base 1 plus base 2. What's h? 7.5 is your h. What's base 1? What's base 2? So you're just taking those numbers and plugging them into the formula. So area equals 1/2 times 7.5 times 9 plus 22. Make sure you add before you multiply, right? Do PEMDAS, so parentheses first. So 1/2 times 7.5 times 31. You get an area of, what does that come out to? 116.25 square meters. Okay. 25, one of the tough ones. One of the ones that often, it's not an octagon, it's a
Polygon.
hexagon. It is a polygon. More specifically, it's a hexagon. So in a hexagon like this, if we were to draw in all of our radii, we would get 6 triangles that are all the same triangle, okay? This being 60 degrees all the way around. So if you don't remember that, 360 divided by 6, right, gets you your 60 degrees. But then we draw the apothem in, and when we draw the apothem in, that cuts that angle in half, making this angle here 30, okay? So you have a 30, 60, 90 with a hypotenuse of 12. So what is this bottom edge?
6.
That would be half of it, so 6, which makes your apothem what? 6 rad 3, right? That's the x rad 3, and 2x. Okay, so if that's my setup, then when I do 1/2 AP, my apothem is there, 1/2 6 rad 3. What's the perimeter?
It's 12 times 6, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, so if this is 6, the whole side is 12, which means every side is 12. So you're just doing 12 times 6 for your perimeter. 12 times 6, so 72. Okay, so your area for this figure is 1/2 times 6 rad 3 times 72, which comes out to what? 216 rad 3. And then you label it square meters. Okay? Yeah.
So the lowercase a is the apothem, right?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so this next one's a little bit easier because you don't have to do all that work. You have your apothem. You can find your perimeter fairly quickly. What is your apothem?
2.8.
Right, so you're going 1/2 times 2.8. And then what's your perimeter? 4 times 5, right? This is 4. There are 5 of them all the way around. So 4 times 5, or 20, So that gives you an area of 28 square inches. Okay?
Okay.
Questions on that?
Thank you for doing this. I appreciate this so much.
You're welcome.
Should be on
Okay, 27. This is one of those, well, you tell me. It's a triangle. What formula do you use?
there. A equals 1/2 times B times C times sin A.
Right, this is the SAS. I would absolutely put this on your cheat sheet, right? SAS triangles. You use 1/2 B, C, sine A. What is A in this problem? 33, it's the angle, okay? And then B and C are interchangeable, so it doesn't matter which one is which, but the capital A is the angle, the lowercase letters are the sides. So it's gonna be 1/2 times 12 times 11 times the sine of 33. So when you plug that into your calculator,
You get 35.10.
what is it, 35.9?
Would you run that to 36?
I have 35.9. What came after the 9?
It was like 34.92, whatever.
Yeah, so to the nearest tenth, 35.9. But it is an area, so square inches. Okay, questions on that?
Negative.
Okay, so this is going on your cheat sheet, right? Put it on there. Another thing that I would absolutely put on your cheat sheet is this guy. So area of a sector. Oops, of a sector. So you're doing the measure of the arc over 360 times pi r squared. Okay, that's area of a sector. And then length of an arc. That one is the measure of the arc over 360 times circumference, so times pi d. Okay, put those two on your cheat sheet. So when you see a problem like this, it's just plugging it into the formula. What is the measure of the arc? So we're looking for this arc. What is that measure?
The alpha does work. Or is it just-
No, because this is the center of the circle. So a central angle relates to its arc. How?
Oh, isn't it double? No.
That's an inscribed angle.
Oh, is it like
They're equal, right? A central angle equals its arc. So for area of the sector, it would be 45 over 360 times pi times the radius, which is 3, squared, okay? You plug in everything but the pi, and you get the area of the sector, which comes out to, either you could do 1.125 pi, or you could do 9 over 8 pi. Just however you want to simplify it, I will take either one of those answers. Either way, it is units squared because it's area. Okay, so either one of these is fine. And then for length of the arc, we're going to move over here a little bit. You're doing the measure of the arc. So again, 45 over 360 times pi. What's d in that problem? The diameter, which would be 6, right? If your radius is 3, then your diameter is 6. So again, you're plugging this in. Don't plug the pi in. And you get 3/4 pi. Or you could do 0.75 pi. This is just a length, so just units. Okay, one of those two. You don't need both.
Yay.
Okay.
This is just a time.
So glad.
Can you go back up to the length of the arc?
Length of the arc is this one.
I mean, I want to try to.
Oops. Oh, yeah. Didn't mean to put a big line through it.
Okay,
Okay, here's what 29 was supposed to look like for you. The circle was supposed to be the shaded part. It didn't show up very well when it copied, my bad. But it says, assume that a dart is thrown at the square dartboard below. Find the probability it will land in the shaded region. So it's gonna hit the dartboard. What's the probability it hits in the shaded part? What was the formula for probability? Do you remember? You're favorable over the possible,
Okay, just kidding.
right? So favorable is always the shaded. So basically you're saying shaded over total is one way to think of it. So how do I find the shaded region? What am I finding of the shaded region? The area. So can you tell me the area of the circle? So if you have this length is 8, that means your diameter is 8, which means your radius is 4. So you're doing for the area of the circle, pi times 4 squared, or 16 pi. Okay, so that's the circle. What's the area of the square? 8 times 8, so 64, okay? So if I want the probability of the shaded section, I would do shaded, 16 pi, divided by total possible, and then you would plug that in. So 16 times pi divided by 64, that comes out to 0.79.
Oh, I got that right, and I even guessed.
That was an educated guess. So what does 0.79 mean?
79%.
You have a 79% chance of hitting the shaded section.
Did you really just guess that?
No jokes.
That's why I always say you're going to hit the dartboard. You have a 79% chance.
I probably miss the dartboard every time, except for one time it always come out to the center and then I'll never hit it again.
Yes, you'll hit the bullseye. Okay, questions on that?
No.
Next page.
All right, few more, and then we got one more thing to do, and then I'll give you some time
What's the
to
last thing you did?
go over your test.
Oh, yay, pets or pets.
Okay, 30 through 33 here. For 30 to 32, you have to find lateral area, surface area, and volume of these guys. And I promise you're gonna do a few of these on your test. So if I were you, take that sheet that has all the formulas on it and make the chart. Don't just write the formula, write what it's for. A prism, a cylinder, you know, what shape are we talking about? Because you don't want to get confused when you see it on the test. Okay, so name this figure for me in number 30. What is that? It is a prism. It's a triangular prism, right? So for lateral area of a prism, we do, anyone remember it?
LA equals PH.
pH, perimeter of the base times the height of the figure. If I were you, I would put on my cheat sheet these things. P stands for perimeter of the base.
I forgot what that means.
H, perimeter is the distance around, like you add up all the sides. H stands for the height of the figure. B is the area of the base. L is the slant height. What am I missing? PH, 1/2 PL, LA plus B, LA plus 2B, 4/3 pi R cubed, 4 pi R squared, 1/3 BH. That's all of it. I have been teaching geometry for 12 years.
I know you guys saw that.
What?
I know you guys heard that. I saw the screen shake. I'm the only one that was looking at the screen through all of it.
I didn't see the screen shake.
But you heard it?
I heard a thump in that room.
You heard it thump?
I heard it.
Well, your screen shook.
Scott.
I think when they hit the wall, it shook the ceiling.
Shook.
It's all good.
Who hit the wall? We don't know, Harrison.
Someone next door. No, that way, I think.
I did.
Anyway, okay, so you are doing pH for your lateral area on this problem. P being the perimeter of the base, right? What shape is your base?
A triangle.
A triangle. Okay, so this triangle, what is this side?
That is the
It is the hypotenuse. What's the length of it gonna be?
It's, okay, so it's
6,
it's gonna be
9, 3, 4, 7.
What kind of triangle is this?
it's a 30, 60, 90.
No, it's a 45,
It's a 45, 45, 90. Okay, but if you don't remember that, that's okay. 3 squared plus 3 squared equals x squared. You could do the Pythagorean theorem, right? But you don't have to, because we can just say it's 3 rad 2 because it's a 45, 45, 90, okay? So, yes, sir.
I didn't even know it was a 45.
Because it's a right triangle that's isosceles, right? And a right isosceles triangle will always be a 45, 45, 90. Okay, so for P, you are doing 3 plus 3 plus 3 rad 2. Okay, what's H? 10. Okay, so you need to simplify this and then we can multiply. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 rad 2 comes out to 10.243, we'll say.
So it's 20.3.
No, because we're multiplying
So.
times 10. So it comes out to 102.4 square inches. Okay, so that's your lateral area. Then to find the surface area, we're going to move this over a little bit. Your surface area is your lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. So we're doing 102.4. Oops. Plus 2. What's the area of your base? What's the area of that triangle?
Whoa, 39.
Cut in half, right? Because if these are your two legs, 3 and 3, then the area of the triangle is 1/2 times the base times the height. So half of 9 or 4.5. So you're doing 102.4 plus 9 for your surface area. So your surface area comes out to 111.4 square inches. Okay, so that's surface area. And then volume is the area of the base times the height. And we already found both those things. The area of the base was 4.5. Oops. The height was 10. So your volume is 45 cubic, because it's volume, inches. Okay. Questions on that? That one's a little fancy. All right, 31. Name that figure.
Cone.
It's a cone. Okay, we're gonna move over here since I'm kind of running out of space over there. In this cone, your formula, lateral area of a cone is 1/2 PL. Can you tell me what P would be in this problem? Pi d, which is
8.
8 pi. What's your slant height?
8.
The slant height is also 8. That's this guy here. So you are doing, for lateral area, 1/2 times 8, or 32, times pi square inches. Okay, so that's your lateral area. Then you need your surface area. So surface area, you're doing your lateral area plus how many bases?
1.
1 base. So you're doing 32 pi. What is the area of that base?
Pi 4. Wait, that's wrong. Why did I think
4 is not wrong. You just need to do what to it?
Squared.
Squared, right. So you're doing 32 pi plus 16 pi. So you get 48 pi square inches for your surface area. Okay. So then for the volume,
1/3.
it's 1/3 BH. What is B?
Area of the base.
Which we already found, right? That's over here. That's the 16 pi. So you do 1/3 times 16 pi. And then you have to find the height on this one. Okay, so here's my height. How do I find it? Pythagorean theorem, right? This side would be 4. So you have 4 squared plus h squared equals 8 squared. So do 8 squared minus 4 squared. And square root that. So you have the square root of 48. And for this one, we're just going to round. I will give you numbers that work out a little nicer, but for the sake of this, we're just going to round. So h squared equals 48. Take the square root. H comes out to approximately 6.928, we'll say. Okay, so if you plug that in up here for your height, 6.928, this will give you your volume. Sorry, I'm running out of room everywhere here. So your volume, if you plug that in, comes out to about 116.1. It is a lot of work. Okay. All right. Last one of lateral area, surface area, volume. So this one's a sphere. There is no lateral area for the sphere. So you're doing 4 pi r squared for your surface area. Sorry, surface area. And then your volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. What's r? 4, right? So you're just plugging in 4 pi times 4 squared, which is 64 pi square yards. Okay, this one you're doing 4/3 times pi times 4 cubed. And when you plug that in, you get, comes out to 85 1/3 times pi, and that's volume, so that's cubic yards. Okay. All right, last one. Two similar pyramids have heights of 6 and 9. What is their scale factor?
2/3.
Right, 6/9, right? And 6/9 gets reduced to 2/3. So that is your scale factor, okay? What do you do to that to get surface area ratio? You square them. So 2 squared to 3 squared is 4 to 9. And then how do you find volume? Cube it. 2 cubed to 3 cubed is 8 to 27. Okay, if I were you, I would go on my cheat sheet. Scale factor is A to B. Area ratio is A squared to B squared. And volume ratio is A cubed to B cubed. Okay? Questions on any of that?